Mr. President, two questions about a couple of things you've tweeted about in the last few days. Were you meaning to criticize Vice President Biden for wearing a mask yesterday? And can you explain why you've been tweeting about a conspiracy theory that has been proven to not be true?
No, Biden can wear a mask, but he was standing outside with his wife, perfect conditions, perfect weather. They're inside, they don't wear masks, and so I thought it was very unusual that he had one on. But I thought that was fine. I wasn't criticizing him at all. Why would I ever do a thing like that? And your second question was? I couldn't hear you. Can you take it off because I cannot hear you?
I'll just speak louder, sir.
Oh, okay, good. You want to be politically correct. Go ahead.
No, sir, I just want to wear the mask.
Go ahead.
The second question was about your tweets about the woman who died, who you're suggesting that Joe Scarborough was responsible.
Yeah, a lot of people suggest that. And hopefully someday people are going to find out. It's certainly a very suspicious situation, very sad and very suspicious. Question, please.
I asked you not to tweet about it anymore, sir.
Mr. President, though, have you seen the letter that was written by her husband begging Twitter to delete your tweets, talking about how hard it's been for his family, for him to deal with that?
But I'm sure that ultimately they want to get to the bottom of it, and it's a very serious situation. I also saw a clip with Joe and Imus, where they were having a lot of fun at her expense, and I thought it was totally inappropriate. No, it's a very suspicious thing, and I hope somebody gets to the bottom of it. It'll be a very good thing. As you know, there's no statute of limitations, so it would be a very good thing to do. Okay, who's next? Any questions on insulin? Yeah, please.
Mr. President, there's a bill.
Yes.
Has the president seen the letter that Laura Klausutis' husband, widower, sent to Jack Dorsey, Twitter's CEO, saying that his tweets were emotionally traumatic for him and for his wife's family?
I don't know if he's seen the letter, but I do know that our hearts are with Lori's family at this time.
Why is the president making these unfounded allegations? I mean, this is pretty nuts, isn't it? The president's accusing somebody of possible murder. The family is pleading with the president to please stop unfounded conspiracy theories. Why is he doing it?
Well, I would note that the president said this morning that this is not an original Trump thought, and it is not. In fact, 2003 on Don Imus's show, it was Don Imus and Joe Scarborough that joked about killing an intern, joked and laughed about it. So that was, I'm sure, pretty hurtful to Lori's family, and Joe Scarborough himself brought this up with Don Imus, and Joe Scarborough himself can answer it.
He's the president of the United States, and he's accusing somebody of possibly murder. I mean, this is different. He's not a private citizen. He's the president.
Yeah, and Joe Scarborough, if we want to start talking about false accusations, we have quite a few we can go through about Mika asserting,
I'm asking about the president's allegation.
And I'm replying to you and saying this morning, as recently, I believe it was this morning or yesterday, Mika accused the president of being responsible for 100,000 deaths in this country. That's incredibly irresponsible. They've dragged his family through the mud. They've made false accusations that I won't go through, that I would not say from this podium, against the president of the United States, and they should be held to account for their falsehoods. Joe Scarborough should be held to account for saying people will die by taking hydroxychloroquine. Never mind the millions of Americans and people across the world who take it for rheumatoid arthritis and other reasons. There are a litany of false headlines like Mika.
The president spreading a false conspiracy theory that suggests that he's responsible for murder? I
would point you back to Joe Scarborough, who laughed and joked about this item on Don Imus's show. It's Joe Scarborough that has to answer these questions. Stephen.
I'm going to read something really quickly. Timothy Klausutis wrote, quote, "Conspiracy theorists, including most recently the President of the United States, continue to spread their vile and misinformation on the platform, disparaging the memory of my wife. Why won't the President give this widower peace and stop tweeting about this conspiracy theory involving his wife? Why can't this widower get peace from the president?"
I've already asked and answered this question, and our hearts are with Lori, and I think the onus is on Joe Scarborough to explain his interaction with Don Imus and his laughing on this very matter on Don Imus's show. Chanel.
The widower is talking specifically about the president. Are you not going to answer that?
Warrants with regards to ex-CIA Chief John Brennan.
I'm going to read something really quickly. Timothy Klausutis wrote, quote, "Conspiracy theorists, including most recently the President of the United States, continue to spread their vile and misinformation on the platform, disparaging the memory of my wife. Why won't the President give this widower peace and stop tweeting about this conspiracy theory involving his wife? Why can't this widower get peace from the president?
I've already asked and answered this question, and our hearts are with Lori, and I think the onus is on Joe Scarborough to explain his interaction with Don Imus and his laughing on this very matter on Don Imus's show. Chanel.
The widower is talking specifically about the president. Are you not going to answer that?
Warrants with regards to ex-CIA Chief John Brennan.
Yep, Jen.
Thanks. So going back to the Klausutis family, I think is how we pronounce it, the Florida family. They have asked the president, the widower has asked the president in that letter to stop talking about this and for Twitter to take down those tweets. I just wanted to ask you, is the president asking for law enforcement to reopen this cold case? Is that what he's intending? Is he going to ask the DOJ to reopen something? What is he asking for when he talks about the cold case?
Yeah, I don't have any future announcements on the president's action, but I would just refer everyone, for those of you who haven't heard it, go back and listen to the Don Imus soundbite. It was very callous, it was very cruel, and I think laughing and joking about the death of an intern is really uncalled for, and I think that's something we can all agree to. Thank you all very much.
You know, occasionally we're going to try to help you. And you've just, right, Charles, you've got to listen. So.
Well, tell me what I need to do.
Well, no, you're doing great. I mean, don't be afraid to be funny.
Okay.
Because you are funny. That was I asked you why you went in Congress. You said you'd had sex with the intern, then you had to kill her. And,
exactly.
I mean, that's pretty risky to say.
What are you going to do?
So it could be, you can be very good. I mean, I actually like Keith Olbermann and I like Matthews, and it could work out for you.
Well, it's going to be a good lineup. And the guys at NBC and women at NBC looks like they're going to stick with us longer than they did with Donahue, which I'm glad they were impatient with him. And I think it's going to work out. And one of these days, who knows, you may TiVo it.
It was very nice of you to take the time to do this, and I appreciate it. And thank you very much.